So we're just starting with the session, guys. This is a masterclass, our first session of the day. Masterclass on art of winning. As the name just suggests, in this particular session, we'll be talking to you about probably the rules or the strategies or the daily habits which we can inculcate in order to become more successful and have a more purposeful life, right? So we also have two of our industry leaders, I would say, who will be joining us. They'll just introduce themselves shortly, and they will be sharing their personal experiences, probably their just express their opinions, and uh, of course, they will be answering all your questions and queries. So please feel free to put in all your questions or anything you want, just put it in the chat box and we'll be happy to take all your questions. So without further ado, I'll just invite the panelists to please introduce yourself to our audience. We can start with Arjun.
Sure. Thank you so much, Misbah. And it's a pleasure coming here. So just so everybody knows, my name is Arjun. I am a program director at Hult International Business School. I've been associate in the education industry for roughly close to a decade. A career coach for the last 7 years, and successfully in the last 5 years have placed and changed careers for close to about 800 to 1,000 students globally. And it's what I feel that my history with education has just allowed me to do what I do right now, and that's who I am. I'm happy to share some knowledge. I'm also learning every day, every year. It's a learning phase for all of us. It's whatever we do, it's like a startup itself. So happy to be here.
Thank you so much, Arjun. Uh, let's go to Abhishek.
Sure, sure. Thanks, Nazwa. So, hey guys, hey everyone who's joining today. I'm Abhishek. I'm the co-founder of a startup called World. We are a blockchain-based platform, and we've been running since 2.5 years now, and successfully have become India's largest such blockchain platform at this moment. Apart from that, in the last 4.5, 5 years, I've been more about blockchain technology as a running a startup. I've also written books on blockchain and regularly speak on blockchain. So more or less, that has been my field, my sector, and I have firsthand seen my own career change a lot. And definitely not certain, a lot of strategies that had to be in place, which I now realize that yes, they were in play. Maybe if I would have met someone like Arjun at that point in time, it would have been a different story earlier in life. But yeah, so I hope that anything from that I would be able to share today, and we'll try to add to Arjun whatever goes on in this session. Thanks, Vispa.
Thank you, Abhishek, for that. So, Abhishek, we also have a blockchain session at 5 p.m. So, for everybody who's here, we also have a session on blockchain technology and cryptocurrency at 5 p.m. Please do join that if you're interested in knowing more about that. Okay, so let's just start with our session, which talks majorly about winning and succeeding and everything. So, my first question to you guys would be, how do you define success? What is success to you? We can probably start with Abhishek. Abhishek, what do you define success as? What is it for you?
Sure, Misbah. So, to be very honest, this is a definition that perplexes a lot of people, myself
Yeah.
included. For a long time, it has done so, and many people are in search for that meaning. Again, including myself. But yeah, later on, in the last quite a few years, I have realized that essentially for me, especially what success means is to be able to get up in the morning and do what you like. That has been absolutely most important in my life. I have tried doing things which I don't like. That has been a very short time, but I have spent more time doing things I love. Maybe many a times they don't bring you a lot of money at the same time, like for example doing a startup, right? Starting from scratch without a salary, whatever things come with it. But yeah, it allows you to wake up in the morning every single day. There are no morning blues, right? That should sound somewhere like a success. First, I believe that we should try and attain that stage first before being successful in terms of what the world knows about that. Okay, you have a lot of money in your pockets, and then you have a successful career, a successful life and all. But yeah, before that, I think this defines success for me, as such. Yeah.
So, whatever you want to do in life, you should be able to do that. That's
I
what
think so,
success
yes, because
is.
that's very important, I believe, because
Of
that's
course.
where if you're not able to do that, maybe then there are so much that you won't be able to give back to the world, which you could have if you were in a segment where your synergies matched more. I've seen that
Totally,
happen with myself and many of my close friends as well.
totally agree with you, Abhishek. Thank you for that. Arjun?
Yes, Abhishek said it and framed it really well. It's about being happy at the end of the day. Again, success means a lot to different people in a different way. Traditionally and tendencially, a decade or 2 decades ago, it was only money, right?
Money.
People would perceive successful people as people who are making millions of dollars.
Yeah.
But as we were discussing the other day, for me, success is completely different. It's that happiness, the smile that I get when I talk to my parents and they feel that I am doing something great in life, and just achieving their expectation is success. Again, like Abhishek said, it's that motivation that brings you, gets you up in the morning, all charged up, all excited enough to do what you love to do.
Right.
Abhishek loves to do everything in blockchain, right? And this is
Yeah.
what he really is an expert in, right? And I think that's what everybody should know, that there are parameters that you can achieve success, but what that basic framework is what you have to go down deep inside to understand what makes you happy.
Yeah. Probably having a more content and purposeful life, being content at the end of the day, right?
Right.
Cool. Thank you for that, Arjun. Now, when we talk about success, we talk about failures as well. Of course, failure is not an opposite of success. We say it's a part of success, right? And these days, with everything being there, especially on the social media, wherein you see everybody having a perfect life, a perfect professional life, you're achieving things, you're doing so many things, and there's a perfect professional life, everything's nice, you're chilling, everything's perfect. So in this environment, tell us, how does one deal with failure without creating self doubt, without
Lovely.
letting self down? This is for all of us, Arjun, right?
I know, absolutely. I think also it's also important for us to understand social media is a gimmick which allows people to understand that the grass is also never green on the other side, right? I know I wake up in the morning at 5:30 every day, irrespective whatever time I sleep, but my social media is really active in doing really amazing things, right? Which I think I'm doing. Uh, but through I think when it comes about being charged up with failure,
Yeah.
like I take failure as a very different perspective. Failure allows me to rethink and redesign something for a better understanding of what I want to achieve, right? And when we talk about overcoming failures, it's about that focus that needs to go, right?
Yeah.
If our parents were not there when we were children, we would just keep failing, and it's about pushing yourself about through the limits. Also, if you go very deep inside what failure actually means to everybody, it's failing in something again and again and still doing it and repeating it again, right?
Right.
And how you change that is, of course, by pushing yourself outside your comfort zone, by having a very growth mindset to understand, okay, if this is not happening, there are ways in moving around. So
Right.
again, failure and success go hand in hand. You cannot have success without failing. I'm sure, Abhishek, even for you, while starting up,
Yeah.
there should have been hurdles which came across and made you a better person and entrepreneur for world.
In fact, indeed, as Arjun said, for me as well, this is exactly what has happened. In fact, this is my third startup. World is my third startup, and the last two were, not failures within a month. They continued for about 1.5 years. In the first one, I even raised some modest amount of funding as well, so people would believe that funding means the startup will go on now. Does not happen that way. But out of all these three startups, the second one was more successful than the first one. The third one right now is far more successful than the first two. So this shows that every learning that I've received from the failures in the first two, and I can even whenever I discuss this with my friends or other entrepreneurs, I usually lay down an entire handy chart that okay, these are the things you should not do. Okay,
Yeah.
so these are all
Right.
learnings from my past startups which have come in this one current one, and they are bringing up fruit. So yeah, exactly. This is the same thing, as Arjun said, very rightly put, that this is where you understand that failure is not the opposite of success, and it
Right.
is needed. If it does not happen, I don't know how far you'll run. You might be
Yeah.
very lucky in the beginning, but I don't know if you're not facing any failures, how far you would run being successful. So
Hmm.
that's very essential.
So basically, it's safe to say a failure is only a failure if you do not learn from your mistakes. If you do not really, you fall and you don't get up, you just give up. Then it's a failure. If you're constantly learning, as you said, this is your third startup, and now everything is so much better than your first startup. So you've evolved, so you've learned. So it would not be considered as a failure, just a learning opportunity for you, right? Great.
Absolutely.
So, Arjun, you just mentioned about risk taking. That was something which I anyway wanted to ask you guys. In order to become successful in life, how important do you think is risk taking? I mean, they say that all the great things happen outside your comfort zone, right? So how important is risk taking in order to become successful at things?
I think it's a very, very good question, and thanks for asking this. So risk taking is important, but calculative risk taking is even important for everybody. I think over the last 5 years, uh, I've put a risk analysis into whenever I speak with students also about the kind of ways that you calculate risk in a better and a very positive outcome. For example, if I break risk down, if I break even accumulate success with failure around with it, you look at what drives you. Passion should drive you, right? Working should drive you. You cannot get success, you cannot get anything in life just easily, right? You need to push yourself, push boundaries to getting successful, right? Risks are also on the ideas that you generate. A few years ago, nothing was in blockchain, nothing was in cryptocurrencies, but Abhishek took that risk and he said,
Mhm.
okay, let's just get through this. He's become an expert in this domain itself, and he has a great startup becoming it, right? And also it's about the kind of practice that comes across, right? If you are taking risk, okay, great, take the risk, but you cannot just be blindsided and not practice, right? There's a very great phrase saying practice makes a man perfect, right? If you're not doing that practice every day throughout your entire career to be more successful, then you will fail in your risk, right? So it's these are very, very closely designed together: failure, risk, and success. And if you get all of them pushing yourself outside your comfort zone, I think that will make you happy and come back home and sleep peacefully.
Right. Thank you for that, Arjun. Abhishek, as Arjun rightly said, I'm sure there was one time where you took the risk, and now you're in an area which is evolving than ever. So tell us about the risk taking, which you of course have. So tell us the importance of risk taking.
Right. So, yes, honestly, right. Because, for example, as Arjun was saying, nothing really happens without, you taking some calculated risks. Of course, you don't take, stupid risks, then of course, that comes down on you. But yeah, if you're taking some calculated risks, first and foremost, one thing is that we have a very kind of a herd culture, right? Cattle culture here, right? In India, many a times students just follow either what their parents say, or students end up following what their peers are doing.
Right.
Many a times what that you have seen that has not turned out to
Yeah.
be the right option for every single person, right? That's not tailored.
Yeah. Everyone's
You should
different.
tailor, exactly, you should tailor your opportunities to yourself. I understood that, luckily I understood that a bit early, when I thought that this thing is not going to work for me, right?
Okay.
As simple as that. And then I had to take risk, and yeah, but that is the time when that risk factor comes in, because the world does not expect you to do so, right?
Yes.
Your parents do not expect you to do so.
Right.
Your maybe if you're in an age where you are about to be married, so
Hmm.
technically your to be in-laws don't expect you to do so. And in that scenario, and this is the right age where many students very soon will find themselves in. And that
Hmm.
is the stage when and recently, Shark Tank is coming to India, right?
Yeah.
It is about to launch, so, and we have reached the third stage as well, but till now we don't know if you've reached the TV round or not. That's only remaining. But yeah, the ad really motivated me a lot. If you see the advertisement that comes up on Sony Live or Sony, it says, it shows that every one single person from starting till end, your parents, your in-laws, your teachers, everyone just says that don't do this, don't do a startup, don't do these things.
Right.
So these things have to come up early, when you have to decide that, okay, let's take the risk,
Hmm.
करके देखते हैं, right? So that's the whole thing, that at the gist of it. And after that, it might fail, of course. You're taking a risk because you have a huge failure element attached with it, right? But then, yeah, of course, you bet on your guts and see that if it becomes successful. If it does, then you learn more things about yourself which your standard career option would not have given you the chance to. So yeah, of course, that's where even as you asked, Ms. Bai, in my case also, that those were the areas when every startup I wanted to do, I had to take that risk and make my parents understand that okay, I'm about to spend my all of my money which I earned
Right.
after college, and now I'm putting it in. I might not earn it back, totally lost.
Actually,
So yeah, those are the risks that you have to take, which has happened that way only.
I'm sure that
Yeah,
would have been a very challenging time for you,
yeah,
Abhishek. So just
yes, yes.
building on that, tell us how did you overcome these challenging times? How did you stay positive? How were you so confident about yourself that okay, this is going to happen? And of course,
Right,
confidence starts with yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, no one else
right,
will. So how are you able
right.
to keep yourself positive during such times?
Right, Ms. Ba. So that's a very good question, and I myself had to ponder a lot of times that how to keep myself positive on that.
Hmm.
And to be very honest, it many a times happen. Arjun would attest to that. I believe that many a times happen that when you believe that you're doing something good, but
Hmm.
at the end of the day, while sleeping, going to sleep, you feel that I don't think that this is working. What to do? 10 different issues in 10 different directions. I could have taken a simpler route and route, and would have been much easier. But then again, next morning you have that confidence because you knew in the first place to trust your gut. And
Hmm.
if it was a strong gut instinct, then you know that okay, there is something, right? There is some fire
Yeah.
there. You'll do it, right? Everything is about solving. It's not that people don't face challenges. In COVID times, luckily we are into fintech loans and farmer based loans that did not get hit during COVID times. But I saw many entrepreneurs, many people individually have been so badly hit with COVID. We know that, right? Every one of us knows that.
Of course.
But
Yes.
yeah, people have come out of it, right? Everyone has done, right? Bhuvan Bam lost his parents, but now he has come up with his first episode of something new again. These
Hmm.
things give you a lot of hope, and then you can compare. So I usually compare with people who might be facing more challenges than me. So that is
Yeah.
my one mantra, which I see that he's facing much more challenges than me. If he can do it, I have
I can
everything
do
else, so I can definitely do it, right? So it's a 0 and 1, right? It's a computer science problem then.
it.
It's a 0-1 problem for me after that. So that's what how I keep myself going, but it's pretty
Great.
subjective. Yeah.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Thank you for that, Abhishek. That's really nice. Okay, Arjun, how do you keep yourself positive when you're in challenging situations?
So first, congratulations, Abhishek, on Shark Tank's third round. I truly, truly hope that it becomes really big, and you do get the investment that you're fetching for. Um, what happens with me? So for me, I deal with a lot of students and people who want to change careers, right? And it's a difficult task when you're giving your perception to someone to shift careers or to focus on something that may be fruitful for them. Challenges when such situations like that happen, and I am encountering something like that. So, and I'm going to be a little cliche with this. I listen to music. Music keeps me sane.
Yes.
Whenever I know I'm going to have like a very tough conversation with someone who's really elder to me also as well. Because sometimes when we have MBA graduates or seeking for graduation at the age of 35, 40 coming in for an MBA at our school, and when you are talking to them about their careers, you want to understand exactly uh, how this MBA program will help them, right? And if you've had that tough conversation and you just want to simply breathe in, I always tell everybody to have a great headspace, and if music or if something keeps you happy, walk away for 2 minutes and just do not think about it. I think that keeps me sane. And if it's personally me, it's the workout. I take out all my stress in at the gym in the morning itself, so that my day is good.
Totally. Exercise is a very great, it's a very good form of de-stressing. Of course, people go into meditation. A lot of people do a lot of journaling to keep themselves positive. And then a lot of people, I think it might be also very beneficial to just probably take a step back and reflect what you're feeling and then just, deal with your emotions like that. So I think whatever suits whosoever, do that. But I will try the music bit, Arjun. I hardly listen to music these days, but we'll just try that. Maybe it helps. Some calming music. Okay, I think we have some questions. This was related to risk, I think. Is it because we're scared of failures, and how do you handle such risk? I think we've kind of answered this already. So, are there any certain skill sets which make it easier for people to win or succeed? Yeah, so this was one of my questions as well, guys. So, are there any, not just skill sets, but are there any habits, successful habits, which somebody can inculcate to become more successful in life? Let's probably we'll start with Abhishek. If you want to touch upon some skill
Sure.
sets.
Definitely, Mispa. Thanks for that question. That's a very good question. And I've personally felt one thing that has changed life a lot is that it's about discipline.
Hmm.
Highly, I would support, I would put focus on this. That discipline is a lot, is very important in
Yes.
life. And I mean, since early childhood, even my mother was also someone who tried keeping me a lot disciplined. Schedule and everything. And
Schedule,
later on,
routines, everything.
yeah, but at that time I did not give much heed to that. That's what happens. That's where you lose, basically. If that would have happened, And but yeah, later on, I myself personally understood that everything is all about discipline. And
Yes.
now I have become so dependent on a disciplined life or a disciplined schedule, is that if I, for example, so as Arjun said that he has started waking up at 5, he wakes up at 5:30. I have started. I was not always like this, right? But
Yeah.
since the starting of world, this particular startup, suddenly I don't know how it happened, but I started waking up at 4:30 to 4:45.
Okay.
Suddenly, I mean, I was a 7 a.m. guy. Okay, so that was a change that I had to do, but it happened. Maybe because of the work or work
Maybe
quality or
because of the passion in you, the fire in you, so you just wanted to start early, do
right.
things, be more
So that's where
productive.
I understood that's where I understood that there's a difference. I was earlier at Policy Bazaar. It was
Right.
also a job I liked, but it was not mine. It was not World. The
Hobby.
moment it changed from Policy Bazaar to World, I mean, and product to blockchain and technology and all of that, it was immediately a change was seen
Shift.
in the schedule itself. 4:30 is too early for me, right? And and since now, whenever I miss that, I feel the moment I wake up in the morning, I feel that I lost my day, right? My day has gone out of my hands. That
Right.
feeling I try to avoid at any cost. So like Arjun said, at whatever time I sleep, I try to sleep early, but whatever time I sleep, early does not happen, but it has to be like a disciplined life. Whenever you miss that discipline by even 20 minutes, it starts feeling that you have lost your day.
Yeah.
Similarly, during the day also, there are so many things that you can do to keep yourself streamlined. Arjun does exercise. I am someone who tries to do that, but not a regular person. You can see both of us on the screen. So
It's
yeah.
really hard to have a schedule to work out. Let me
Yeah,
tell you that, Arjun. I mean,
yeah, I'm
Abhishek,
not finding
it's not
time. I mean, yeah, I just don't
so
find time
hard.
to work out. I mean, that's a tough thing to do. But yeah, if something like sport or something happens, then other people push you as well. Yeah, definitely I do that. So yeah,
Hmm.
these things come, and then reading or things like that. These sometimes make you go away from that entire paraphernalia of startup and team management and all of that, and then you are a bit silent there. You meditate for some time. These
Hmm.
things have really helped me now, which I didn't do earlier, so I don't know how to compare. But yeah, I can compare and I can tell you now that yes, this discipline has been one tool that has come out as something that is a very good catalytic agent for me. Arjun maybe has a couple more to share, but yeah, this has been one for me, to be very honest. And I think
This is
that everyone should try this. Yeah, mom,
sticking to
when
a
when
skill.
mothers tell this, when mothers say this, please listen. Yeah,
Yeah.
someday you will. Someday you will.
Oh
Okay.
God.
Uh, Arjun, you want to add anything? I don't know if
Yeah,
somebody's didn't see your video. Maybe it's
my
just me.
video.
No, actually, I think it's Misbah, your video. I think I'm not able to see Misbah. Misbah is stuck a bit. Arjun,
Is
I
it?
can
is it?
see all three of you guys. I'm fine. Like all movements are perfect.
I
I can
got
see
stuck.
myself.
I got stuck in between, so I just closed and switched on my video again. Can you try that again, Misbah? Maybe something happens at your
Okay,
end. I can see
maybe.
Arjun moving.
I
Okay,
can't see
perfect.
Arjun for that matter, but okay,
All
I'll
right. So
just
I'll also switch off
Now I
and
can
switch
see
on.
Misbah as well. Now
try
I can
that,
see Misbah as well.
Arjun.
Now,
Yeah,
perfect.
I
All
can't
right.
see, but I can hear you, so I think it's
Should I
fine.
switch it? I can see all three of you. So,
I can see you,
Okay,
Arjun.
um,
I can
that's
see.
perfect. I can see you now. I can see you now.
okay, perfect.
Thank you.
First, I think adding on and beautifully put by Abhishek is the kind of discipline that leads to becoming successful. I just quickly wrote down four things that I feel that someone in terms of soft skills people need to improve when it comes towards that winning attribute. So what I was thinking while this conversation was happening is to make sure that you guys, everybody listens before speaking. Let people speak. Listen to podcasts. Listen to the right kind of things that you want to do in life, right? okay, great, music is great, everything is great, right? But if you're having right content, it's great to deliver while you're talking about what you're passionate about. Be curious, right? Abhishek is curious about blockchain, right? Ethereum, cryptocurrency, everything is on the floor right now. Shiba, I think Shiba should
Yeah.
be set up, but Abhishek, we'll have that discussion probably offline.
Yeah.
But be curious to understand what's happening around the world. Be curious to understand what you like, and how can things change in that domain. Observe passionate people, observe people's lifestyle, observe what makes them successful, right? Okay, I understand that a lot of young blood go to colleges, go and do their masters, their mbas. I understand that also they go out drinking in the evening, all right? But eventually, when people are doing some things, they also should understand that when you are out, you need to observe how people's lifestyle is, people's skill sets are, observe what they're learning, see the skill set deficit, and improve that for yourself. And finally, ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. If you yourself do not ask questions to yourself, I think that will always keep you worried at night when you are sleeping, that how was my day? Was it successful enough? Am I happy right now? What do I want to do? I think that's what I it was these are the 4 5 things that was running in my head when I read that question, and when Abhishek was answering.
Amazing points, Arjun. Thank you so much for that. And guys, as Arjun just mentioned, please ask questions. That's a great way to let you know whatever's in your head. Just let it all out and ask questions. So please feel free to write questions in the chat as well. I do not see a lot of questions coming in. We're having a great discussion here with Arjun and Abhishek. So please feel free to put in your questions that you might have. We just have this question from Persis Sara, who says, "How to stay positive even while dealing with crisis?" Crisis. Okay, yeah,
Crisis.
crisis. I think we've kind of answered that, right,
Yeah.
guys? We've
It's
already
the
met.
music. It's if
Yeah,
meditation works for you, do meditation. If people in my team, they have green tea when they're just wanting to calm down the nerves, like
chamomile.
neurologically. Chamomile tea, yes. Like neurologically, all this just gives you the relaxing sensation, right? So meditate, breathe. You can just close your eyes, shut your eyes, and there's this app called Calm. Download that, and just breathe in, and positive breathing means breathing good things and keeping your headspace very clear, helps you to deal with crisis, helps your blood pressure to go down, helps you to stay really active as well.
And do more of things which you love to do. I
Mhm.
mean, I know we're in this hustle of doing things, making a livelihood for ourselves, doing things, but we should not forget about doing things which make us feel alive. It's a very cliched statement, but it's very true. You should be doing what you really love to do, so do more of that. Right, Persis? Okay. So moving on, since a lot of our audience here are students, majorly who are about to start their global ed journey. So tell us, how important is education, or let's say a college degree, to make you feel, to make you successful in life? Basically, what is the importance of education to become successful? We'll start with you, Arjun.
To be honest, please do not catch me by my throat if I answer something right now. Uh, so, education important, right? What I feel is when the students pay their money for the kind of networking that they can do during their graduation, right? We in India, whichever undergrad college or high schools that we are going in, we know how to study, right? And if you're working somewhere, there's a lot of on the job training that happens, right? I always believe that it's an 80-20 rule, the Pareto's chart, right? It's 80% on the connections, the networking, and the structure that you believe outside India, for example, right? That you're going out and starting. That's what you're paying for, to understand how people from different backgrounds work, people with different cross-culture communication. It's very simple. I remember, if I go back in my MBA days at Hult, right? When I first went there, and I remember when I was speaking for presentation and sales. So I had a professor called Professor Stephen Hurley, and when I was giving and delivering my pitch, he stopped me within 2 minutes and he asked me a question. And the question was to my team member who was a Chinese. Her name is Meng Sheng. And these are not people that I'm making up. So he asked her, did you
Interesting.
understand what Arjun just said? Right. And believe it or not, she said no. And we both worked together in our team building activity. So it was her, me, a Colombian, and a French, Emmanuel Georgi. And I kept quiet. I asked her what's happening, right? And she said that Arjun, you were going really fast, right? In order for because we Indians, we love speaking, we love talking, and the way we are speaking, the decibel is really fast, right? The
Yes.
similar tone in Germany is very aggressive, correct?
Yes, sir.
So it's very important to understand these soft skills make a tremendous difference and globally, right? And because I do career coaching, I look into international recruitment and partnerships, I can pick up my call and call up any friend across the globe for anything I want, right? And that's the importance of education abroad. And if you give if it's given the right choice, please get out of that comfort zone, have that growth mindset, and study abroad. And I think that is also a very small but an important piece in a puzzle of being successful.
Right. So be more open minded, and networking should be given a lot of weightage when you're
Right.
studying, not just abroad, even whenever, even in India for that matter. We should focus on networking, not just with our peers, but maybe alumni as well. Networking is the key, basically. Right. Abhishek, anything you would like to add on to this?
Only thing that that's absolutely the thought. In the past, I have also seen that sometimes my degree has been, whatever it is, but it has been, active. It has been useful in something I'm applying to.
Hmm.
Sometimes it has not been, like while doing a startup, you have to do a lot of things that you don't have a degree for, right?
Right.
But at the end, it's all about networking. You do not pay for the courses. You can get the courses anywhere else as well. You can learn, self learn as well.
Hmm.
But then once you go into a campus and you work with them, you develop yourself. It's
Right.
people actually believe, students actually believe that, okay, now now engineering is not that valuable, business is not that valuable. But yeah, when you go to a you'll be going to a B school, you
Hmm.
are actually be going to be paying for that experience that you're getting, right? That's what
Yeah.
the payment is for. That's what the
Personal development. Yeah.
yes, personal development, the time investment of 1 year or 2 year, anywhere abroad, especially if you're going. And then there is a cross cultural approach
Right.
later on. Like, why does the how do a case study method? Because later on, that is what you're going to do, right? That's what you're going to be at the forefront of, and you want to deal with that day in, day out. That's what it prepares you for. Otherwise, yeah, that's what the importance of degree is. I agree with Arjun. Yeah, that's the thought.
Great. Thank you. Thanks for that, Abhishek. Just have some questions out here. How to be assertive at workplace? Okay.
Yeah.
Who would like to take that?
I think being confident in what you do, learning, listening, observing is the right way of being assertive in a workplace. That's what I feel. Um, I love the questions that are coming in. Persis is really giving great questions.
Yeah.
But yeah, Abhishek, what would your thoughts be?
Yeah, my only thing has been, because there are times I have to be assertive at workplace, being one of the founders. It's an imperative job. Even if I don't want to, sometimes, even if I want sometimes, that okay, this is the time when someone should tell that do this, right? But yeah, be assertive. Yeah, for me, that has been that know your thing. That is one mantra that is works for me, that know your thing. If you know your thing, you will find it very easy to be assertive and get the job done. That's the crux. That's the ultimate goal, right? That's what the company wants. That's what the team wants. Just get the job done. And to make the job happen, you have to know your thing. You cannot make a job happen in something else while not knowing anything about that segment. It happens with CEOs. It happens, big conglomerates. It happens everywhere, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, know your thing is my only mantra.
Know your thing. Right. Okay, so let's take another question from Persis. How do you feel? How do you feel that we should deal with homesick, being homesick in a foreign country? Okay.
I'll let
I
Arjun take this completely.
Okay, Arjun, you
so
can.
um, great question, Persis, and I hope whatever I say does makes little sense to you and everybody listening. Um, so when we're discussing about really getting out of home, it's also about understanding that your parents want the best for you, right? If you are in a foreign soil, maybe for example, you're in London or in US, it is quite different, right? What I did, and I know a lot of my peers would also do. We would go on walks. You should have that close group of people also to help you go through the entire college journey. So I remember before I took the flight to the US for my education, I already knew who I was staying with. Right, we were staying in a two-bedroom house. Four of us were there, and we met multiple times, right, to a factor that we really are brothers today, till date, right? And when each of us have each other's back, I think that helped us much more to overcome, okay, mom's haath ka khana or dad's shouting of not doing some xyz. So we all loved cooking, we all loved doing, had one vision of getting a good placement, had one vision of making sure each other is comfortable. So yes, what I would say, nobody in we cannot give an accurate answer on how do you deal with homesickness. However, what we can help you understand is having the right kind of people around you will not get you homesick. And of course, there are multiple times that there are vacations. December's are vacations, the spring break is vacation, fly down, meet parents. Zoom, COVID has allowed us to understand that Zoom has already taken over the virtual presence, right? Everything
Virtual.
is virtual. I remember 3 years or 4 years, we used to do GEI in person, right? And everything was in person. Today, everything is on Zoom. So it doesn't feel like I in fact, last weekend, I was talking to all my cousins on Zoom, and we all are in different parts of the globe. It's always also making the right time and having those conversations on Zoom.
Also, everyone else is homesick too, as Arjun says, make new friends, right? Totally.
Yes.
Have like-minded people around you and do things, keep yourself busy. I'm sure you're in a new place, so explore it out. There will be a lot of places around it. Explore, travel if you like to. I'm sure you won't feel that homesick. Probably you'll just miss food, maybe. Everyone misses food, like ghar ka khana. Everyone misses, I'm sure. But yeah, thanks for that, Arjun. Abhishek, anything you want to add to this?
Nothing. Same thing.
None?
Same thing. Yeah.
So I think we are probably running out of time. So I think one last question that I'll ask you guys, since we talked about having a schedule and having a routine helps us, right? So what about goal setting? Having short term and long term goals. How important is goal setting in order to become successful? And tell us the ways one should, set up goals, short term and long term. That will be our last question for the session today.
Sure.
We'll
Okay.
start with Abhishek. Okay, cool.
Okay, sure. So goal setting, I have not been doing since a lot of time. But when I started recently. In fact, during the pandemic days, only work from home days, you get a lot of time to do these things as well because no travel time, nothing else. But when
Stable.
I have started doing that, so I've been trying a formula for that, which is essentially, you might be knowing about this product organization called Mind Valley, right? Vishen Lakhani, Mind Valley,
Yes.
pretty popular nowadays. So there I had attended a master class or a couple of classes where, it showed that there are 12 areas of life that if you can control are
Okay.
very good. So not 12 at the same time are possible and not are applicable to me at this moment. But yeah, so that is somewhere, I use a Notion board kind of a thing where I see that, okay, if I'm out of those 12 areas, even if 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever applies, I'm able to pick up at least, a couple of goals each for a quarter, at least a quarter, and then, maybe the entire year. So that has happened to twice only. Maybe 70-80% I've achieved, not 100%. Never happens 100%. I've known that.
Yes.
But yeah, that format has come good for me because that has shown as a growth in these 1.5 years since 2020 beginning till 2021 now. Apart from whatever goes on in the business and the startup, this has come up as something as a personal growth. So I had projected that, okay, my next book should come at a goal that my next book should come by 2021, and I'm
Right.
expecting that by 2021. So that is
Nice.
happening, but something else I expected that is not happening. So this is
Hmm.
a that kind of a game. But yeah, when I knew that at least four things I had to do, at least I'll do two or
Yeah.
one, right? Better than zero, right? Otherwise, there have been so many years I've passed in my life where I did not have a goal. So whatever happened just happened out of chance, right? So yeah,
Hmm.
that I believe is very important is goal setting, so that and you can, even if you cover 10, 20, 30, 40, any amount of percentage of it,
Right.
you're in net positive as compared to not
Yeah.
having a.
So at the
Yeah,
end of the day, you're improving, you are growing, you know?
that's
That's
the
right.
whole agenda.
Totally. Okay, Arjun?
I think Abhishek, you've nailed the dot with this. I I think when we talking about goal setting, both short term and long term, it's also about to understand when do we start setting up goals, right? And for me, till date, every day in the morning, I write down 5 things that I need to complete by the end of the day.
Okay.
If I complete that, and I do it 80% of the time, I come back home and I'm happy and I sleep
Mhm.
well, right? Um, Also, when I get up in the morning, right before I hit the gym, I also make sure that every day I make my bed, right? That's a very
Um,
small goal like this, right?
yeah.
Makes you disciplined, as Abhishek said earlier as well. Being disciplined doesn't only mean that you need to study, you need to work out, you need to do this, right? These small goals
Yes.
eventually
Balance.
trains your brain to set bigger goals. And
100%.
like Abhishek said, and please, Abhishek, when you release your book, send that to me. Let me know how do we connect. So we do
Next.
that. Having that long-term goal and breaking it down stepwise is important. And for you, it should be very important to understand also that if you are not being able to track those monthlies or quarterly targets to get the long-term goal, something is off track. That's when you need to get back, step up, and rethink that was it an achievable goal that I set across a few years ago or not. So yes, very, very important to set up those small, short-term, small daily goals to also yearly and annual goals to keep yourself on track.
Great. Thank you for that,
One
Arjun.
thing, if Arjun, I just want to add, if Arjun, I mean, see, I have heard very less people who are able to decide on a to-do in the morning, and at the end of the day, they are able to cover 70, 80 or more percentage. So anyone who's in the audience, if see already Arjun is, into career counseling. So I have not found anyone better than this, because people are not able to personal experience. As I told you, my quarterly goals don't get over. Daily definitely will not get over, right? I'm never able to do that. So if Arjun is able to do 80% of it, he's the go-to guy. I mean, honestly, hats off. Hats off, man.
Thank you
And
so
also,
much, Abhishek.
Arjun said that just probably review and reflect that your goals are achievable, have achievable goals. That's also equally important. Okay, guys, I don't think we have any more questions from the audience. And we are already, our time's up already for this session. So we'll move on to the next session now. Thank you so much for being with us today, Arjun and Abhishek. It was really great having you with us today. And I am going back with a lot of information from you guys. It's always nice to hear someone else's experience, routine, and everything. I'm sure each one of us here would be able to pick something out of
Absolutely.
um, our discussion, and I hope it proves to be successful for you. Thank you so much and have a great day ahead. Take care of yourselves. Bye bye. All the
Thank you
best.
so much. Thank you, Abhishek. It was really pleasure meeting you. And
Yeah.
Misbah, as usual, always a pleasure.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Arjun. Thank
Thanks.
you, Abhishek.
Thanks, Arjun. Bye bye.
Take
See
care.
you.
Bye
Bye.
bye.